think it's working. Yeah? Is that work for you, little shaved butt? That work for you, little shady butt? Oh, I forgot to get more water. Oh, that's my fault. Hello, everybody. All right, microphone yonder. There we go. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Use of a Problem. Why do I like lots of problems? The old HD camera will not solve itself. So I took the monkey cam. I put the monkey cam in for the main cam. I took the backup outside camera. That is now the monkey cam, which is, I don't think it's actually HD, but you know, you can still see the monkey butt and her little shaved butt right there. Updates. Monkey butt had her first round of chemo today. She seems to be feeling fine. I told everyone to keep a lookout if she gets pukey or poopy. There's some protocols we got to do. But it's the first round. She's got every 3 weeks for the next 6 months. It's quick. It's like a little 30-minute deal. They do a blood draw. They give her the chemo, and then she's all wiggity-waggity, and she comes and greets me again. So, yay! Any other updates on that front, monkey? No? Just going to show everyone your little booty. News. There are reports that Ryan Cohen upped his stake in Alibaba to $1 billion. The stock went up a whole bunch today because they said earnings are insane, but really they'd sold off some subsidiary, and that subsidiary was reported as earnings, the sales. So I don't know. I personally don't know if investing $1 billion into a drop shipping / Chinese manufacturing market company is the best way to go when tariffs are about to go insane. But hey, man, you do you. What else is happening? GameStop did have a little run today. There is on IBKR, Interactive Brokers, there is a DWAC ticker. So basically, it means that there's some sort of corporate action in the works, and you know, experts are saying within 4 or 5 days we should know what that DWAC means on that ticker. The last time folks saw one in this movement was on BBYQ, which was right before they removed it from everything. So stuff happens. Sounds like 2 microphones picking. Oh, there are 2 microphones picking me up because I bet this stupid thing has a microphone in it. Let's see here. All right. Is there another microphone in here? Oh, yep, the monkey butt cam has a microphone. Eat shit. There we go. How's that work? Is that better? No longer a chorus of Houston. All right. Let's hope that works. There aren't any more microphones on here, are there? No. Okay. Yes. All right. So the Houston chorus is finished. Chorus of Houston's a good band name. GameStop went up a bit today, which I'm feeling good about because I bought a whole bunch of options for April 17th, and so why not? Why not have a little win? So something like 10,000 $29 calls got purchased today that expire on Friday, and then another like 2,500 $30 calls got purchased for Friday. So there's some whale betting that this thing does something real neat by close on Friday. I will gladly take that. Forgot to check what max pain is on this sucker, but we can always look that up. GME max pain. GME max pain. Max pain for this Friday is $26. So we're $1 above it right now. If we go to 29 or 30, that would put quite a few shares in the money. We got about 2.4 million in the money right now, with 155,000 out of the money. So it's it's the monthlies. The month is coming due, so there's a lot in the options chain for this. Yeah, why not? Hey. So other news. Elon Musk today said that he and Doge are going to basically eliminate Social Security and Medicare. So screw those old people, right? Like, what did they ever do? They don't deserve anything. Cat food and refrigerator boxes. That's all they need. So be prepared to house meemaw for a while because she's not going to have the Medicare or anything available to help pay for a nursing home, retirement home, anything else. And her Social Security's gone, so I guess you're feeding them too. And Trump called Zelensky a dictator while defending a man who has led Russia longer than any member of Doge has been alive. So, go figure on that. Hypocrisy? Not really irony. It's more just straight up hypocrisy. So, yeah, let's do the clickety clack and see you in a moment. Okay, turn the intro off. Ding dong. Intro is off. All right, scroll to the top. Murph and Turf Studios was first. Way to go, Murph and Turf. Brandon Wells, sup, No Labs, BBBY. No Labs did the reverse split. Hoping to have Ron here in about... Well, after the shareholders meeting is probably when we'll have Ron on. So, end of March, beginning of April. And he'll have to do some explaining. Because between then, there's been the Lynn Partners deal, people saying that they're going to get stuck in a debt spiral and blah, blah, blah. And that's... seems to be what's happening right now. Not good. No me gusta, right? Brenda Wells, MYV. My V. I don't know if that ticker. I have no idea. Murph Studios. For my Oscars race, I watched Soundtrack to a Coup d'etat. Amazing documentary about Congo's independence and all the bad actors trying to keep Patrice Lumumba from uniting Africa. Fascinating stuff. Excellent. Brandon Wells, my 540 shares down 130. Yeah, my 10,000 are now 250. Murph Studios. Also, the Broccolis gave up control of James Bond and not excited for the trash that will start pumping out. Yeah, apparently Barbara Broccoli, she was really, really, really adamant that they did not create a larger James Bond universe. She wanted just James Bond films, and they must have really sweet talked her to give up control. She gave up to MGM and Prime Studios. So my guess is we'll probably start to see like young James Bond TV shows, Moneypenny, The Origin Story, Crazy Fridays with Q, and it'll start to just like Star Wars the shit out of that thing. I just make good movies. Every 2 to 3 years, pump out a really good James Bond film. That's all you need to do. You'll make billions. Everyone will be happy. You won't ruin the brand. I'm with Barbara Broccoli on this one. She did an absolute phenomenal job taking over for her parents with this most recent iteration of James Bond. Absolutely just 5 spectacular movies. Absolutely spectacular movies. And Casino Royale is the best Bond film, period, as far as I'm concerned. So Prime better not ruin this. Jeff Bezos, you fucked this up. So mad. Okay. Murph Studios next summer, Baby Bond. Exactly. We're going to see all sorts of crap like that. No. Just Buddies. If I remember correctly, Cohen has been holding a lot of Baba for a while already. Interesting timing considering it has already run a lot. Yeah. Like, did they make the news today on earnings specifically to push that stock price up? I don't know. And 9. Things are moving quick, like you said, Houston. It's exhausting. Ukraine, Russia, the mass firings, IRS now, Canada 51st garbage. Any word on that coin that you can't sell yet? PiCoin released yesterday to like 5 exchanges. None of those exchanges can Americans participate in. I tried joining all 5 of them. All 5 of them, nope. You're the wrong IP. You have a U.S. driver's license. You cannot join. You cannot sell. You cannot do anything. So Americans, unless they've got a Canadian ID or a Algerian passport or something, can't participate. It opened way lower than the Pi Network IOU, which had hit $182. Opened at like $2. Sitting about, I think, $1.50 right now. Pi Network price. Pi Network price 90 cents. So it's at 90 cents right now. So I've been as high as $2 at one point today. So it's sitting 90 cents a buck, which is okay. I mean, that's basically where XRP was for the last decade. and once Americans can start trading it, things should go wild. Let's see here. Right now, they did $1 billion in trades today. The total supply is about 9 billion coins. So they traded 1/9 of all the coins in existence. Wow, that's a lot for day one. So if Binance takes it on and Americans can start trading this thing, you'll see it. I think Binance makes a decision next Thursday or Friday as to whether it will be something that they do. My guess is that it had a strong opening, $1 billion in trading volume. Binance will want to have a piece of that. So, yeah. Hey, if Americans get in on this thing and it goes from the dollar to $300, I will peace out, Girl Scout. Bill Coin Super Chats. Ever wonder why they never write Tom Clancy novel movie where the president is an idiot? Can you imagine? Like this, speaking of James Bond universe, Prime has the Tom Clancy TV shows, right? And they've done like Tom Clancy adjacent movies. Can you imagine if there's like a Jack Ryan film where Jack Ryan spends 8 episodes just like explaining like a toddler, geopolitical situations? Like, no. The Armenians are different than the Azerbaijani. And they're not Albanians, Armenians. Armenians, yes. Okay, so the Turks hate the Armenians. No. They hate the Armenians, not the Azerbaijan. Oh my God. Like, that would be... You could do it like Lower Decks. You could do an animated series of Jack Ryan trying to explain to Trump like a toddler geopolitics. That I would watch the shit out of that. Okay. And then young James Bond. And it's like, what's with you Americans? He's like his CIA contact. What's his contact's name? Not Clarence. Was it Clarence? I can't remember. But it's like CIA contact like gets a message like, I've been laid off. Seriously, how are spy movies going to work now? Like, my favorite genre of television movies are spy movies. And if you're laying off all of the FBI counterterrorism people, you're laying off the entirety of the CIA, a whole bunch of NSA, like, is everything have to be like, it's a super secret government organization called Clamdor, and they don't know about it because the CIA doesn't exist anymore, but we are what's left. And that's going to be the entirety of our spy movies from now on. Or like, we're going to be like spying on Great Britain and France rather than like having Russia as an enemy. What's next? Are we going to be like working for ISIS at this point? Chris Range, 4th. Were you 4th? 1, 2, 3. Oh, you were 5th, Chris. Derek Horse, didn't the Beyond guy tweet BBYQ is not getting anything? The Beyond guy tweets a lot of things. He also said they had nothing to do with baby. So, Chris Taylor, hi. I'm happy to see IEP above 10. No labs, sigh. Yeah, apparently ICANN has a whole bunch of mergers coming in that he's been announcing like today. So IEP may get some pick-me-ups from that. And Chris also says, anyone shocked that Trump turned on Zelensky and finally McConnell is retiring? I mean, McConnell's done all the damage he can do at this point, right? So I'm sure they'll find some other Rand Paul clone that they can get in there in Kentucky to, gum up the works for another 40 years. That'll be great. Sean, Houston, do you think 400 shares in GME is enough? If it MOAS's, that's a lot. If it doesn't MOAS, then no. Get what you can while you can. It's probably the best way to do it. Chris Taylor's the 4th thumbs up. Chris Taylor says, teachers late 10-minute rule. In fact, after I said 1 sec, camera problems continue, which they did. And I think I pretty much solved them. Although Monkey you can tell the difference like in pixels compared to lower hand and upper hand. Also, my hand's a different color in that screen. I have a better tanner, rosier complexion here. Corporal Walnut, our brains are quantum computers. Opinion? I don't know enough about the brain to say otherwise. I would say our brains are definitely analog and not digital. 3D storage versus 2D storage. It'd be interesting to see if in the future we can program a brain. Because they've done stuff with like cockroaches and chickens and things where they like can program, like wire the brain and make them do things. It'd be interesting to see if we could like full on overwrite a brain. I'm sure people are working on it. But can you imagine like, you know, that TV show Severance where like they separate the brain, got the work head and the life head and whatnot. But like, you know, if you could just go in and just delete files, just defrag and optimize storage capacity, things like that. I'd be very curious to see where we go with that. And 9, I'd say get a new camera, but the show just wouldn't be the same without a grainy look. Well, how's this camera looking? I mean, it's looking pretty sharp on my side. I can't really, the screen of the broadcast is much smaller, so it's really hard for me to tell if it's actually in high definition or not. 74. President Musk brought his dog Trump on a handy interview. So nice of him. Always good to walk your dog. Exactly. Monkey loves walks. Or hops at this point. A little hop along. Oh, where your leg used to be. Oh. Yeah. Looks fine? Yeah. Perfect. Everybody just wanted to show me that it's looking fine. Looking fine. Chris Taylor gives it that rustic feel we all love. Summer, Houston, what's your guess on GameStop net income for Q4 this year? Where's my calculator? Calculator. We'll go there. We'll go calculator. Okay. They have 4.6 billion since June, right? So 4,600,000,000. 4.6 billion. Let's say that they're making 6% interest on bonds that they've purchased. They're sitting on bonds. So times 0.06. And we'll just cut that. Whoops. Whoa. What just happened there? What just happened? My thing likes to double click. 4.6 times 0.06 equals. That's 276 million over a year. So let's cut that sucker in half. That's 138 million plus probably another 100 million. I bet they're above 200 million on the year. Profit. That'd be my guess. Above 200 million. Probably closer to 300 million at this point. So earnings 300 million. What, 400 and something million shares? So 300 million divided by, is it 440 million shares? 450 million shares? We'll say 450 just because. So looking at 66 cents a share, that's good. Because I think the earnings has them at like 15 cents a share. So if they can beat that sucker by significantly more than that, that'll be good. I'm going to tell you my plan right now. My plan right now is I have these options I purchased for April. I'm expecting, because implied volatility has been really low, that as we get into March, we might have a little zip zop zoomy zoom. If we do, I will sell and reset. Like if we somehow go to 30 on Friday, I will sell those suckers bi-weeklies for next week for a little gamma on Monday, and then I'll look at, you know, buying later for March when the implied volatility starts to go up, and I can make on that IV balloon, make some money, and then I will probably take what I have and I will do a halvesy. I'll buy $1 above on the day of earnings for calls and $1 below on the day of earnings for puts, and just see which way it goes. And, you know, Bob's your uncle at that point. So that's probably what I'm going to do. Okay. Carpal Walnut. Did you ever talk about Cohen Twitter follow? Oh yeah, I just read that today, that Cohen's following two things. He's following GameStop and he's following Bitcoin Magazine. So maybe he's going to do that whole turn GameStop into nothing but MicroStrategy, buying and holding Bitcoin. I mean, it works. They'll make you money, but I just wish companies would like focus on making things, you know, like produce stuff. We need stuff, so focus on that. Chris Taylor, can Monkey get a treat in celebration of getting out of the cone of shame, please? I think we can do that. I think we can. Ready? Oh, does this interest you? Huh? May interest you in a pig ear. Yeah, so she's got the appetite, so that's good. We celebrated her chemo, and I got her a hamburger, and she ate that right up. So I want to make sure that in case her appetite is a little crappy, I'm not sure when those effects come in. If they come in, I'll just give her as much food now as I possibly can. You can write it out like a Polynesian in a hurricane-prone island. And Don says, Shade, it's been a while. I've been really depressed and started isolating, trying to come out of my shell here. Well, come on out, Don. I mean, we've all got the depression. The future is bleak. But you know what? We can still laugh about it. Because what else are we going to do? Just dark, morbid humor is all we've got at this point. So we may as well embrace what we have. And then it will give us something to celebrate later when it's finally over, right? Which might not be for 30, 40, 50 years. But when it is, and we're creaky and old, and we're wobbling with our cane, and we're watching, you know, our AI grandchildren celebrate their newfound freedoms, we can be like, I did it, I lasted, you bastards, and then you know, as we head off to our job stocking shelves at Walmart at age 92, because there's no retirement for anybody. It'll be great, right? So hey. Okay, where are we? We are did that one. Pedro Carvalho. How can Trump give a powerful impression to China when he crawls under Putin's table? Exactly. And how are you going to project strength when your Secretary of Defense says he's going to cut the Pentagon budget by 30 to 40%? That's a lot. You aren't going to get that by cutting personnel. You're going to get that by axing defense contractors. And if you do that without having any other way for those defense contractors to make money, then you're just vaporizing GDP at this point. So, yeah. I mean, this PX has to do that said our Navy wasn't prepared to take on Russia. Russia's Navy is terrible. Ukraine beat Russia's Navy, and Ukraine doesn't have a Navy. So, the United States of America, with 11 carrier groups and God knows how many submarines, no, we are more than prepared to whoop on the glorified fishing boats that is the Russian Navy at this point. Their aircraft carrier caught on fire in dry dock, and they don't have an aircraft carrier right now. How are you going to project some sort of like, oh, I'm going to take over the world if you can't even get your planes to the other side of the world? So no, we're fine, Pete. But I'm sure if we vaporize 30 to 40% of our military budget, and it's going to come, you know what's going to happen? Here, we got to Google Earth it, because you guys got to see what we have in the Northwest. I know you guys have seen this before, but I'm just going to reiterate because it's important, right? There we go. Okay, so here in the Northwest, right, we've got lots of military bases. Probably the most important two of the military bases, we got Indian Island up here, which is where the munitions are stored. We've got Everett Shipyard, Everett Naval Base. We have down here we have the Joint Base Lewis McChord, so it's Air Force Base, military base, where the Stryker Brigades and Green Berets are. Here in where I'm in my neck of the neighborhood, there's Keyport. This is where they build this underwater warfare center. This is where they build like torpedoes and stuff. We've got Bangor, which is the largest single... Cat, get the hell out of here, bud. I'm going to destroy you. Go away. This is the largest single repository for nuclear warheads on planet Earth. If my county, Kitsap County, were to secede from the United States, we'd immediately be the third largest nuclear power in the entire world. So, this is where our nuclear cruise missiles and more are stored in these bunkers here. And then here, where it's blurred out, in the blurry areas is where the submarines get docked. Then you go down to Bremerton. Down here is the Bremerton Naval Shipyard. There's basically two major shipyards where they do repairs and work on big ass ships and nuclear capable ships. That is here at Bangor, or here at Puget Sound Naval Shipyard, and at Norfolk. And this is also where several carrier groups are based. So Naval Base Bremerton. This is where Kitty Hawk and Ronald Reagan and things are stored are based here. There are in this facility, in these big warehouse looking things, these are machine shops and tooling shops and reactor repair centers and all that stuff. And you can actually see, maybe they covered the pools. You used to be able to see the pools exposed where they would dip the reactors that were spent fuel reactors. But anyway, in this facility, in this little stretch facility, there's 40,000 civilian employees, right? These are some of the most technically capable people on the face of the earth. You've got physicists, engineers, machinists, mechanics, metal workers specializing in welding of very intricate, very specifically engineered materials. These folks might just get the axe from Elon. Might just get totally laid off, right? And then all of a sudden, our ships can't get repaired. Because if they do it here, they do it in Norfolk as well. And then all of a sudden, our entire Navy will degrade into a rusty heap of nothingness. Like, you can see the number of ships. This is from, when is this picture from? This picture is from, I can't see the date on it. It says 2025 Airbus here, so maybe it is 2025. So this is a recent one. But you've got amphibious landing ships, right? We've got some destroyers. We've got this is one of the aircraft carriers that's being picked apart right now for scrap. We've got submarines galore. These things are all in various states of repair, decommissioning, whatever. We got big ass dry docks. We've got barges, all sorts of things going on here. It's actually not that. There's a couple more submarines. But you can't have a navy if you get rid of all the people who maintain your ships. These things are in salt water all the time. They need constant maintenance, repair, painting, fixing. Especially if you happen to go to war for some reason. But yeah, I'm very worried that they're going to blanket fire like everyone at the shipyard, and then all of a sudden, where I live, it goes into straight economic depression. These military bases are huge generators of revenue for cities all over the country. And they aren't just, it isn't just military personnel in these things. There are hundreds of thousands of civilian employees of the Department of Defense that do things for the military that are not active duty military personnel. So I don't know what it is these folks are hoping to achieve, man. I don't know. So here's Norfolk. This is their shipyard. They got similar setups. They probably another 30 to 50,000 shipyard employees here that do all that work. We used to have multiple places that did this stuff. We had Alameda, we had San Diego. They did this work, but they pretty much budget cut, and now we're down to 2. One of the problems with that Harvard Business School cut mentality was the consolidation of military bases across the United States. We used to have our military really spread out across our country. Little bases all over the place, few giant bases. But they're like, we need to save money. So they would close an entire base, take all the personnel, move them somewhere else, pay a bunch of contractors a shitload of money to build new housing and centers and things like that to house all these military personnel. And then the little towns where these military bases were would just die economically. And then they would auction off the land to developers, and that would be it. Here in the Northwest, we had lots of these bases. Here in Port Townsend, have you ever watched the movie An Officer and Gentleman? There was Fort Worden up here. This was where Fort Worden was filmed. They closed the sucker back in the 80s. Then there was Fort Flagler, same thing. Closed that. There are dozens of them all over my island. There was all sorts of Nike missile silos here. We had our own Fort Ward, different from Fort Worden, down the south end of the island. There were military bases all over, and whether these things have strategic importance or not, or if they were just redundancies, being able to have your military spread out over a large area is a very strategic advantage when dealing with, say, like a nuclear capable enemy, because you might have more military bases than they got nukes if you do it right, and they won't be able to hit you. And if they do hit the big ones, then you still have the little ones operating. But now we've consolidated everything, and we basically Pearl Harbored ourselves, which is the reason why the Pearl Harbor attack was so successful was that we had moved almost the entire Pacific Fleet into Pearl Harbor for maneuvers. And so when it got attacked, there was almost nothing left in the Pacific to do any counterattacks. We had a couple of ships that were out at sea that had not been in harbor at the time. But yeah, I'm kind of just going off on a tangent here, but quit it. Just, this might be like a functionalist sociological perspective, but if you guys ever taken a sociology class, you know about functionalists. Mostly functionalists are kind of assholes, but some inefficiencies produce greater economic benefits than if you didn't have those inefficiencies. So if our military was just slightly less efficient, we would have strategic advantage and more money going into smaller communities around the United States, especially in rural areas. But, you know, we're consolidating and put everything in big areas, and that's that. Yeah. Anyway, Doge sucks. Elon sucks. It all sucks. Sucky. All right. Ken Smith's Alibaba's new Berkshire. Joe's Mammy, until RC announces that Alibaba himself, folks should slow their roll. Kid Cadian first. Nope, you're not first. You're not even close to first, Kid Cadian. And happy birthday, thank you. Murphy Studio sounds a little wonky. Maybe 2 inputs. Oh, that's when yes, Mr. Oak. Houston, so what's the T on the JFK files? Did you read any of them yet? I didn't know they'd come out yet. No, I've not read any of them. My guess is nothing interesting. Andrew Stewart, what position player would you put in the bullpen all time? It's like turn him into a reliever. Ichiro. Jay Buhner. Ellie De La Cruz. You ever saw him? He had an errant throw to first base last year that was 107 miles an hour. It was the hardest throw in the major leagues that year. He got a ball and he whipped to first, had 107 miles an hour and completely overthrew the first baseman. But he'd be a terrifying man to have pitching on the mound. Who else had an absolute cannon that would probably make a great pitcher? I watched Jay Buhner once jokingly warm up on the mound between innings, and he hit 97 with his warm-up pitches. It was like 99 or 2000. And then he went out to the right field when the actual pitcher came out. And Ichiro did something similar. Ichiro's also pitched a whole bunch in exhibition games and stuff. He fanned like 15 girls. They were the national baseball team. But who else? Who else would it be a position player I'd put out there? Crazy strong arm. Probably almost any third baseman in the league could probably do it. Those dudes are throwing a long distance, and some of them really put some zip on the ball. Yeah. I think those guys would make great bullpenners. Oh, shoot. Reset the chat. MS. All hail King Trump. Let the revolution begin. Like they're like, ha, Trump's the king. Ha ha. Just joking. Unless, right? They're floating that balloon, dude. He's trying to make himself king. He had that executive order the other day where he basically declared that he and the attorney general are the only ones who can determine what is legal and what isn't. No, that's not your job. Your job is to enforce the laws as interpreted by the courts. Jason Blackwell. Oh, Jason! Hey, Houston. I was in court recently. The prosecutor claimed I broke the law. I jumped up and said, I object. The judge said to me, be silent. So I said, I object. What? Just said to me, be silent. So I said, I object. Object? Is this a pun I don't understand, monkey? I'm not getting it, man. Can you help me? Can you help me with a little butt dog? Huh? You still have one squishy butt left. So one squishy butt cheek. The other one, like right there. All right, whatever. I'll leave you alone. Oh, yeah, Jason, you may have to do that one again for me. Orchestra Studios, Chorus of Houston, good band name. Marlon Rivera. Marlon, I have to admit, every time I see your name, I want to say Mariano Rivera. The Hall of Fame closer for the Yankees? Marlon Rivera. It sucks to see this country go in the shitter right after I finally got my citizenship. I should have immigrated somewhere else. Just start collecting those passports, man. Just like a hand in poker. That's why you should just pick and choose which one you want to use. Civ54, they are dismantling our government. We need to dismantle them back. Shackles or freedom. The choice is yours. The lack of spine is astounding. America, you lied to me. No heroes live here. All farce. Yeah, Americans are very conditioned to sit back and watch it all unfold and go, that's crazy, and then not do anything. Although we do respond to catalysts. The response to people like Luigi Mangione was incredible. He is one of the most popular people in the entire country. And he did it by unaliving an insurance executive. My guess is if we have, say, a federal judge who will actually hold Trump or members of his administration in contempt of the balls to do it, and not just be like, we're in contempt, but to remand their corporeal form, send the marshals out to go arrest his ass and bring him, say, no, you're gonna spend every day in jail until you stop what you're doing, until you tell Doge to stop it, and Doge stops it. That's what it's gonna take. And if we get a federal judge who does that, he or she will be a national hero. They will sing songs about them. They'll definitely put a target on their back, that's for sure. Trump would probably have them assassinated. But there needs to be some person in some semblance of power who goes, no, you don't go any further. Thou shalt not pass. Ponk. Right? That's what needs to happen. And the Democratic leadership won't do it. So they need to replace them with actual leaders, such as members of the squad. Because there's members of the squad who will do it. They'll put themselves on the line. We see brief moments of civil disobedience. I don't know if you saw, Chris Kluwe? That's his name. He's a former kicker for the Minnesota Vikings. He got booted from the NFL years before Colin Kaepernick for standing up for gay rights and gay marriage. He's like, no, I'm not going to be prejudiced about this stuff. These are human beings. They should have the rights to privileges and dignity of everyone else. And NFL was like, bye-bye, right? Despite the fact that he was an excellent kicker. They didn't do that to Butker, Kansas City, for being an absolute clown show of a human being. But Chris Kluwe got booted. But Chris Kluwe at a city council meeting in Huntington Beach, which, if you've ever been to Huntington Beach, it is like Nazi Central of California. Just the most garbage people in Southern California all congregated to Huntington Beach, and they're like Klan members and just awful. He went to a city council meeting, said his piece, and said, I'm going to engage civil disobedience, and just lay down on the floor and let him arrest him and drag him away. There are people we can get around. We just need somebody an FBI agent, a federal judge, a security guard at one of these agencies where Doge is just running rampant, right? Like, if I had a job as a security guard at one of these agencies, I'd be like, no, you're not coming in here. I don't care. You are not an official agency. You have no power here. Fuck off. And they would not come in. If they did come in, pew pew, right? Ashley Babbitt, one of them. That would stand out. If one of those little 19-year-old little Nazis got his head blown off by a security guard at Social Security Agency, I don't think they would be going in there anymore. They would go, oh, shit just got real. It's not a game. Big Balls is dead. They would rethink everything, right? That's the type of thing that has to happen. Is that somebody needs to stand up for the rule of law and stop these little Nazis from getting their little Nazi fingers into everything in the government and just ruining it. Because seriously, the damage done already is going to take 50 years to recover from. 50 years. It will take 5-6 administrations to actually get over damage done in the first month of this administration. So, yeah, we're going to be rebuilding for a long, long time. And I bet you that if Elon's allowed to keep cutting the way he's cutting, we're in full-blown recession by summer. We're not supposed to have recessions in the summer. We're supposed to have recessions in the fall. But if he's actually carving out billions and billions and billions and billions, even trillions of dollars from our spending, then that's a huge portion of our GDP. Layoffs across the country, contractors laying people off, government workers having no jobs, average pay drops significantly because now all of a sudden you're competing with folks who have 30 years experience in government, looking for anything. It's dumb. So dumb. So dumb. But hey, they can be like Javier Milei in Argentina and everyone could be poor and starving. So that's cool, right? The folks are claiming now that like Elon's going to send everybody a check for $8,000. We get our money back, right? No, you're not. You're not. Let's say Elon made $100 billion in cuts. Let's go to the magic. Turn off the Google Earth again. Here we go. Let's go to the magic calculator. All right. So, $100 billion in savings. Right? It's a lot of money. If you or I had $100 billion, we would be among the 10 richest people in the world. We would command armies and whatnot. But there's 157 million taxpayers, 330 million people. So if it's 157 million taxpayers getting their money back, whoops, divide that by 157 million, right? Then we're each getting $636. Okay. If it is every person in America, oops, that's 100. Yeah, 100 billion. Okay. 330 million Americans. That's close enough. Even though this thing likes to double click. Then what the hell? Why do you do this? Clear, man. Come on, mouse. We can do this. Oops, that's there. Billion. Divide that by 330. 1, 2. There we go. $303 per person. So that's not $8,000. If you want $8,000 for 157 million taxpayers, you have to cut out $1.256 trillion. So you cut out $1.256 trillion. But here's the thing, is that if you cut out $1.256 trillion, you still have $1 trillion of deficit. So if you take that money and you send it to all taxpayers, you will still have a $2 trillion deficit. Because you didn't actually cut the deficit. By like cutting those programs and firing everybody, the whole point is you don't spend that money because they don't want to borrow that money. So if you send the money to everyone, you're still borrowing all that money and you haven't saved shit. You just flood a bunch of people with cash and caused inflation all over again. So then we'll have tons of people out of work with a whole bunch of cash in their hands to burn And then what, right? Then you get Argentina. So, yeah, and if you cut $1.256 trillion out of the budget, that's 5% of the GDP. So you just contracted the GDP by exactly as much as the GDP was contracted in the global financial crisis in 2008. So no, these dudes have no idea what's going on. None. Zip, zero, zop, dibbity dop, doop, doop. They released like, we just already saved $50 billion. And then somebody went through it and it was like 16 billion. But then they noticed that something that was claimed to be 8 billion is actually 8 million. And then 3 times it was $650 million. It was actually counted 3 times in a row. So it was really only once. But even then it was like 90% of it had already been paid out. So it actually was like $60 million. Like they just make shit up. They don't know what they're doing. They have no clue how anything works. They're a bunch of like dork ass losers from 4chan forums, and they're not competent. They're just not competent or good people. So we have incompetent, inexperienced, bad people suddenly trying to save us money, but really they're not, because they're going to borrow the money still and then send it back to everyone. And what good is that? Where are we coming from here, man? Where are we coming from? MS, maybe RK made shady Unity and bought GME? I have no idea. None. Lee Meadows, Marcus Lemonis in about 2 hours to T0 tokenization and beyond. Oh, yeah, it's happening. In like an hour, right? So I'll be out of here by then. I got 35 minutes to go. And then I gotta run away. Zumi. Ivermectin will help with monkey butts chemo side effects. No, it won't. Ivermectin will not help with those things. Ivermectin is a dewormer. So if she has worms, it would help. But she doesn't have worms. I dewormed her a couple months ago. No. Ivermectin will not help. Ivermectin is not a cancer treatment. Ivermectin is not will not make her like want to eat more, anti-nausea, anything that stuff. Ivermectin doesn't do that. It doesn't. It is not a miracle drug. It's not snake oil. It's not that. It's just a dewormer. It kills worms. That's all it does. Nonomoth. If Trump and Elon are destroying America, is there nothing in place to call out these insider threats? Constitutional crisis coming? Oh, we already are in a constitutional crisis. If the courts don't step in and just straight up axe every single one of these executive orders, not just be like, oh, we're gonna put a halt to it, be like, no, this is unconstitutional, and just make a ruling now. We're straight up constitutional crisis. He's neutering the courts like nobody's business. When the courts have ruled, like put a halt on something, Doge and Trump just keep going forward with it anyway, against court orders. They need to be held in contempt. And if you aren't going to hold them in contempt, then they win. And the courts lose, and that's it. Rule of law gone. Done. America over. So the courts really have to assert themselves here. And that's going to come down to the courts utilizing the Marshal Service to affect their enforcement. Affect their rules, because if all of a sudden the Marshal Service is like, yeah, I'm not going to do that, then it's over. It takes a community effort inside of our own government to actually make sure the government has the checks and balances it needs. But if any cog in that wheel doesn't do its job along the way, then that's it. That's it there, Anonymoth. MS Houston, coincidence, Musk created a $10,000 pod home? Did he? Is that the one that he was claiming he was living in at the SpaceX factory? And they exist. You can. 30 years ago, you could buy a single wide mobile home for about 10 grand. So, Summer, Houston, do you think Cohen is a good CEO? He's done things that have technically generated value for the shareholders, even if that value has not yet been shared with the shareholders. I think his trumping it up is bad for business. Just seeing like how people have responded to Tesla and their overly Trumpy CEO People aren't buying Teslas anymore. So if Elon, if Ryan gets himself to the point where he's in the public mind, at the level that Elon Musk is, and they associate him with this rampant racist Trumpism, then it will destroy the GME brand. So then people won't buy stuff from his stores. They will go elsewhere as a conscious choice rather than be like, oh, there's a GameStop down the street. But if they think, oh, there's a Ryan Cohen down the street, just like there's a Elon Musk down the street, I don't want to go there. You don't want that. You don't want to turn yourself into a toxic brand because your CEO is being a piece of shit. So I think he's made efforts to generate wealth for the shareholders, even though it hasn't been shared with the shareholders yet. But that can easily implode on itself if he keeps being a MAGA douchebag. So that's how I see it. The first purge, lol. I have 1,024, 1 gig of shares. There you go. Captain Jimmy Wilder, Houston. If we ever get a cash payout for BBY shares, how will taxes work on that? Would that be considered qualified, non-qualified dividend? I have no idea. I think they could do it either way, so it might just depend on how it gets issued at this point. Joe's Miami. Elon Musk is swinging around a chrome chainsaw at CPAC given by Malay. Stupid times. Seriously, the dumbest timeline, Julio. The dumbest timeline. Summer, do you still think GME will hit 100,000 a share? Not if Ryan Cohen keeps diluting when we're about to have it go boom. I think we could have hit $100,000 a share. We had 2 chances last year to do that. And he diluted both times. Now he'll argue, hey, we have billions of dollars of cash on hand. Cool. You could have diluted when it was at $1,000 a share and had $1 trillion of cash on hand. So, like, really? That's where we're gonna go from there. But yeah, the potential's still there. We just can't be diluting every single time things are about to go zoom. Then you kill the run. You kill it. Says 54 in before LGBTQ James Bond LGBTQ. I love you. I'll never vote to hurt you, but damn, get your own things. Not everything needs to be reimagined. Well, James Bond already was a little gay. Which one was it with Javier Bardem? Those dudes were flirting hard with each other in that movie. Lapatron. To get on exchanges for non-Americans, you have to pay off an Eastern Bloc government employee to get residency in some random country. Then you can participate in the exchange allegedly. So I've got to find somebody in like Bulgaria and send them $100, and then they'll give me some sort of ID that I can use I can become a Bulgarian citizen. Cool. Interesting. I'll have to look that up. That's one way to get an EU passport. KCB, I'm worried. Happy birthday. It makes sense. Adelaberto, Houston, any news regarding BBBY? Nothing big. Nothing big has happened yet. We still haven't heard about why that $100.13 glitch happened on Schwab the other day, turning a bunch of people into millionaires suddenly and then disappearing. The first purge, Houston, Remitix thoughts. I don't know what Remitix is, so I have no thoughts. How do I spell that? Oops, too many R. Remitix. Copy to fiat network. PayFi. Remitix today. RTX to US dollar live price. Oh, it's coin. Okay. It's coin that give me value. Coin market cap. You are the slowest web page I've ever seen in my entire life. Come on, bud. You can do this. You can do this. All we need is a graph, my friend. And we're at 30 seconds. You have not loaded a single thing yet. Okay, Remitix. Oh, cool. You load that entire thing and have no price for the coin. Just tell me that there's 1.5 billion of them in existence. And that was it. Cool. Let's try that again. Remedics. Bitcoin news. $12 million pre-sale. Can surge from 6 cents. Okay. Null TX. Analyst suggests that Remedics could surge from 6 cents to dollars by 2030. 5 years. On your investment here, it could be worth 6. It's not just another, it's a PayFi platform aiming to revolutionize traditional remittance, convert crypto into local fiat seamlessly. It's currently at 6 cents. All right. I mean, sure. It's the first I've heard of it, so my thoughts are it's another one of these things. So those are my thoughts there, first purge. Dustin Height, happy birthday. Started mining Pi today. I think I added you, but not certain. I will check. I'm checking because once the price started going up, hit $182, everyone started like signing back up again. Let's see here. I may have existing Pi user. Oh, there you are. Boom. Added. Bam. Any more on that list? There's another one. Gotta go through this and make sure I add everybody. Oh, there's another one. Okay. And remember, you got to verify. You have to sign up for the KYC. You got 7 days to do it. If you're going to mine Pi. The link for Pi should be down there. You have 7 days to file for your KYC, which is sort of verifying that you are a human being and you are who you say you are. Once that happens, then your coins go from unverified to verified, and you can actually use them. If they stay unverified and you go past the 7 days, I think they might blink it out of existence. So you have to like do your KYC. And some folks, I guess, are having a problem doing a KYC because there's too many people trying to do it. So you might want to contact one of the admin customer support people and be like, get me in there, I only got 7 days. So I really hope it does go bonkers and goes to like $150, $330 a coin, because I'm out. I will take it. I will take it and I will be out. Avocado super chats. Dang, I was supposed to be up here. Tell me about the Scottish Highlands and Appalachians. Anything but Tweedledee and Tweedledum strong US. Okay, we can do that. We can do that. We can talk about. We'll Google Earth it again. Bam. Google Earth. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about it in the past, but you know, we got the spreading ridge here in the Atlantic. This is the conveyor belt of magma pushing these big giant plates apart. North American plate, Eurasian African plate. These suckers are moving away from each other. But if you rewind this, you know, that conveyor belt, you rewind it 250 million years. The Southern Appalachians were in contact with the Atlas Mountains here in Africa. These mountain ranges have the same fossils, same age of things. They are the same mountain range. That same thing goes for all the way up into Greenland, going across into Norway, the Scottish Highlands into what is likely, you know, Nova Scotia, Eastern United States, that area. There's a lot of similarities in these mountain ranges because they were the same mountain range at one time. They were at one time likely as tall or taller than the Himalayas are now. Himalayas are a result of the Indian subcontinent breaking off Africa and smashing its way into Asia, and it's still smashing in. Like, there's a lot of momentum in a huge mass like that, and it takes millions and millions and millions and millions and millions of years for it to like slow down and stop. And you get this gigantic mountain range with mountains, you know, closing in on 30,000 feet tall. The same thing happened when we had Pangaea and Gondwana land. Two continents had smashed into each other and made two giant mountains, and eventually they hit, they stopped, they slowed down, and they sprang back, and then the spreading ridge took over. So that's what we have here. So the rocks here in Norway, the rocks in Greenland, the rocks in Scotland, the rocks in the northeastern United States, the rocks in the southern U.S., and the rocks in the Atlas Mountains are all the same age, from the same place. They were all remnants of these 30,000 foot tall mountains that have eroded down over years. It's especially visible here in the U.S. because our continental shelf is so huge. This continental shelf is so huge because this is all eroded down 30,000 foot tall mountains. They just washed out in all these rivers and made this big continental shelf. So, yeah. So there you go. There's your Scottish Highland Appalachian story. Alex Bishop super chats. Christopher Lee was the coolest person alive. His cousin wrote the James Bond novels based on his persona. He was a British spy and played awesome roles in successful movies. Oh, he also knew Tolkien while also starring in Lord of the Rings. And he had a best-selling heavy metal album at like age 89. Like, can't beat that, right? And he dated a lot of hotties back in the day. So, there you go. Yeah. Oh, shoot. Somebody started laundry again. Let me just one sec. Kitten, watch your butt. There we go. All right. They love doing laundry while I'm doing a show. I've never met people who do more laundry in my entire life. The two guys downstairs, they do each 5-6 loads of laundry a week. It seems to me like the most inefficient process in the entire world. I have a lot of clothes, if you can't tell. I have a lot of underwear. I have a lot of socks. I do like 4 loads over 2 months. It's I don't get it. I don't understand. They have one pair of underwear, and they just have to wash that one night. Just got to go commando for the rest of the day until my underwear is clean again. I don't get it, but man, they do a lot of laundry. It is mind-boggling. All right, where was I? N9, what do you mean working on it? MAGA is working on it? Wait, what? I don't know what that refers to, but okay. Looks great in that tan. Oh yeah, the tan from the Elgato face cam. It was the monkey cam. KCDB on Her Majesty's Secret Service is the best Bond movie. End discussion. Best Blofeld. Actual love story, actual stakes, silly and some fun. Makes fun of Series 2. Best ending ever. I have no problem with any of the previous Bond films. None. You get the older the Bond film is, the more like a detective story it is. Like if you go watch Dr. No, it might as well be like an episode of Perry Mason or something. Like it is. I went and I talked to this man and he told me this thing. So I went over here and checked out this clue. And you're just following them from clue to clue to clue to clue to like end of the movie, right? The modern ones are way more exciting. You're going to have your parkour badass chases and explosions and, shootings on trains and whatnot. Buildings collapsing and all that stuff. But I think, if you read the original Bond books, Bond novels, Bond is a rough and tough former SAS sociopath. He will run through walls and, he's a sandy blonde sociopath. And I think Daniel Craig captured that more than any of the other previous Bonds. Because people in their minds are like, oh, that Bond has to be, a big Sean Connery type. But Sean Connery was playing someone that wasn't really the Bond in the books. And like being able to see Daniel Craig transition from this rough and tumble, gun you point at somebody into a suave, sophisticated, debonair, elite who or I guess transition back into that because he grew up in that Scottish manor house and everything, is kind of interesting. So yeah, I find the modern ones just a little more fascinating, a little more 3-dimensional than sort of just like the Bond, James Bond, shaken not stirred, cliche. It's I like it more. I like it more. KCB, do we have any update prognosis plan for chemo monkey butt? Monkey butt. So she got her first chemo today. She'll get chemo every 3 weeks for the next 6 months. So I think there's 8 chemo treatments that she's going to have. And then we're still waiting on the genetic analysis of her tumor. When they get that, there'll be a designer drug specifically for that DNA structure of the tumor that she'll get like once a month or once every 6 weeks. And she'll get that for a year. And that should shrink and attack whatever, if there's any tumors left in her. But they didn't see any tumors in her. So this could just be like what we're doing, it could just be just flushing the system and we don't have to worry about it anymore. Or it could be attacking stuff that we just didn't see. It might not even be in there. Like the tumor never touched a major blood vessel, so it may have never metastasized in any way, shape, or form. But this type of bone cancer is extremely bad, and it moves very quickly, which is why when her leg broke, they just assumed it had metastasized, and we're going to find it in her lungs and everywhere else, and they're like, hey, she's got 3 months, basically. And when the time this bone breaks, that's how long dogs last. So she's already in like the 90th percentile, and the fact they didn't see any tumors in her, so that's a very good prognosis. But until then, it's going to be like $13,000, $14,000 in chemo and special drugs over the next year. So I am very glad that Kickstarter was very successful because, oh, buddy, right? Oh, buddy. But no, she's a champ. You're a champ. Are you feeling okay still? We are about 4 hours removed from your chemo, so it's probably going through your system. You probably feel a little icky. But we're hoping you're doing okay. Just no diarrhea, no puking. We'll be cool. KCDB, Meta stock going insane last few months. Why? Probably because all the tech stocks are going bonkers. What is Meta at right now? About $700. Yeah, it was at 500 in September. It peaked at 736 just last week. And it's at 694 at the moment. Yeah. I guess they're going on an AI spending drive. Maybe it's all AI. That's probably what it's all being built on. I know Microsoft announced they have a quantum computer chip they designed. So I think some of the folks who are focused on AI are like, we just got our butt kicked by the Chinese. Let's go back to quantum. And some of those guys are going that way. Michael Steegs, almost news about Beyond. And in 45 minutes, it'll be coming out. Sumner, do you think Doge could go for U.S. payoff debt? Oh, good for U.S. payoff debt. No. Doge is not about paying off U.S. debt in any way, shape, or form. Doge is about siphoning off the U.S. Treasury so that Trump can create a sovereign wealth fund that he controls a la Putin. Trump wants to be the richest man on earth, and this is how they will do it. They will steal the U.S. Treasury, they will rob you blind, and they will enrich themselves. And Trump will give himself like a 2 and 20 for managing, trillions of dollars himself of wealth. That's what it's going to be. Do not assume anybody at Doge is a good person, because they're not. They're Nazis, like straight up white supremacists, members of criminal hacking groups who have a history of sexual exploitation of children and extortion of children. We got dudes who were fired from their internships for giving corporate secrets to competitors. Like, they're just not good. There's bad people. So, no, they're not going to be paying off the U.S. debt at all. If you want to pay off the U.S. debt, you just go back to the 1990s, what Clinton was doing, which was you tax the rich. Done. That's it. All you had to do is raise taxes from like 30% to 37.5%, and boom, we had a $200 billion a year surplus, and we're going to have the U.S. debt paid off by now. But Republicans got in charge, and Republicans do several things. Spending goes crazy, and then they cut taxes for rich people, and the deficit just spikes every single time. And then as a result, they crash the economy. Then a Democrat comes in. They got to do a bunch of austerity to keep the economy from crashing and fix things. And they finally get things fixed, and the economy starts being robust again. And then we elect another Republican who cuts taxes on rich people and spends like crazy, and then destroys the economy. And the Democrat comes in and cleans it up, and then we blame the Democrat for everything the Republican did and elect another Republican. We are the dumbest people on planet Earth. We're so stupid. We had a $200 billion a year surplus under Clinton. He gave that absolute rocket fueled economy to George Bush. George Bush cut taxes to rich people, sent a $300 tax credit to every person in America, right? Immediately, we were in deficit from those two actions. Then because of his absolute ineptitude in office, 9/11 happened, which resulted in the 2 longest wars in U.S. history, costing us about $21 trillion in GDP over that time, and thousands of American lives, and blah, 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 goodwill around the world ruined, a lot of stuff. Okay. Then George W. also deregulates the mortgage market so that subprime loans can go from 5% of the market to unlimited amounts of the market. And that caused the global financial crisis because all the mortgage-backed securities collapsed and we lost 5% of our GDP and almost lost the entire U.S. auto industry. So Obama came in, he fixed all that, and he got us to the point, he cut the deficit from $1 trillion down to $500 billion. Not in like the plan was, next person comes in and that cuts that even further. But then we elected Trump. And Trump cut taxes for rich people, exploded the deficit, mismanaged the pandemic, exploded the deficit, caused rampant inflation. Biden comes in, fixes it all, cuts the deficit in half, and then we elect Trump again. He's just ruining it all over again. Yeah. The U.S. debt is not going down. It's still going up. You can go look at the debt clock. It's still going up. So nothing's being fixed, dude. Avocados, super chats. Cool, thanks. Interesting. A lot of Scots settled in the Appalachians. Maybe going in spring, maybe asshole closes the borders and I get stuck there. Oh, get stuck in Scotland? Not a bad place to be stuck. You just got to like wind and rain and beer. Wind, rain, beer, and you're pretty good to go. Cheap wind, rain, beer. MS Doge Math, 4 trillion in cuts pays for 4 trillion tax cuts for billionaires. Yep. Yeah. The people who can pay for our government refuse to pay for our government, but they'll pay lobbyists to ensure they don't have to pay for our government. It's a really great system we have. It's kind of like how like there'll be a company that doesn't want anyone to unionize. Like, oh, if they unionize, they'll get living wages. We can't afford that. So they'll spend $100 million to some sort of consulting firm about keeping them from forming unions. When if they just spent that $100 million on their employees wouldn't even feel the need to form a union. KCTB Houston. Is this an honest coup by Trump under the collusion of Putin or some others? I'm worried. Senators are too, but they are weak and won't do anything. Yes. There's a reason why if you go look at the RT Twitter feed, everything Trump does are like, oh, bravo, sir. Yes, you destroyed yet another thing that keeps us in check. Right? And like, basically telling Zelensky he's just gonna give Ukraine to the Russians and fuck you, right? This is we're in garbage town, man. YouTube is not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming for the first time in probably since I bought this computer. I don't know what's going on, man. That is incredible. I'm getting frozen faces happening here. So Well, I don't know what's going on in the background here, but I'm definitely fuzzy on my end. I hope I'm not fuzzy on your end. Okay, I got 8 minutes left. 8 minutes. I just have my water from yesterday. Todd, is it Earhart? Arhart. A $5,000 Timmy check? No. I mean, if they do it, then we'll just get 2022 all over again, which is massive inflation. None of these dudes seem to understand how, like Elon Musk supposedly has a degree in economics. For a guy who supposedly has a degree in economics, he has no idea how economic systems work. Thing is, he doesn't actually have a degree in economics. What happened was he was working at Zip2 or X, one of those that got bought by PayPal, and they wanted to make him CEO of PayPal. But he was here on a student visa and he had quit school. He never graduated. So I think it was Peter Thiel and one of the other guys that was a board member at PayPal at the time they went to the University of Pennsylvania, where Elon had been, and they paid them a shitload of money just so they can confer a degree upon Elon. And it was a degree in economics. Elon will tell people, like, I've got a physics degree. No, he does not. He does not have a physics degree. His degree is actually an economics degree, but he actually never finished the classes required to get the economics degree. So it's no idea if he actually took any economic classes. His UPenn got a bunch of money from PayPal, and they're like, well, here's a degree. And then they could get him on an H-1B visa to work in the United States, rather than being an illegal worker on an expired student visa that he was here legally for. So when Elon talks, he has no idea what he's doing. None. Zip, zop, zero, zilch. He knows nothing about economics. He knows nothing about physics. He knows nothing about programming. He doesn't know anything. Zip, zero, zip, zilch. He's really, really dumb. And it's really phenomenal how far he's gotten with how little he knows. Because what he managed to do for a long time was he was a mysterious figure. He was labeled, he was like this genius, but all he did was he bought other people's stuff and then pretended like he was the guy who did it. You know, engineers at SpaceX would design something, he put his name on the patent. He didn't fucking do work. He didn't invent anything, right? He invented the electric car. Really, he just bought out. He did a hostile takeover of the original founders of Tesla and kicked them out. And then he tried to erase their history entirely from the company and declared himself founder. He didn't create PayPal. He was bought by PayPal. And when he was in charge of PayPal, he ruined it so bad they fired him. I think the exact reasons for his firing was compounding problems in the website was the official reason. Because what he wanted to do is they were using Unix. They were Unix-based servers, and he wanted to switch it all to Windows-based servers. So he had to reprogram the entire website. At the same time, he wanted to change the name from PayPal to X. But PayPal had already become a verb. I'll PayPal that to you, right? Like, that's the absolute pinnacle of the .com is if people were using your company's name as a verb. I'm going to Google that, right? You made it, if that's the point. And they want to change to X. And they're like, and all the bankers, everyone's like, no, do not change it to X. Like, but X is cool. Sci-fi. And like, X sounds like porn. We're going to lose our customers. PayPal. He's like, no, I'm changing to X and I'm switching everything to Windows. And all of a sudden the website stopped working and money stopped transferring and thefts started happening and people were getting their bank accounts drained by hackers. And so they had to fire Elon. He lasted like 6 months. And when they fired him, he had so much stock in the company that he gave him a $100 million parachute. And that $100 million parachute is what he used to buy into Tesla and destroy the lives of the original founders of Tesla. So, he just... If you're an expert in programming, you listen to him talk, you're like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. If you're an expert in aeronautical engineering or rocket science, listen to him talk, you're like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. Right? If he talks about cars and you're an expert auto engineer or designer, you're like, this guy has no idea what he's talking about. But to a layman, he throws out enough buzzwords there and does enough like Orwellian doublespeak that you're like, oh, this guy knows a lot. But if you were to play a game of Trivial Pursuit with Elon Musk, you would kick his ass. He doesn't know shit. And he does a really phenomenal job. Like, you may like or hate the Glass Onion or the Knives Out movies, but the Glass Onion movie, Edward Norton plays a parody of Musk, and the entire point of Daniel Craig's character being like, it's just all so stupid. You're actually just so stupid, is the fact that they're pointing out Elon Musk is actually really dumb. He's a really dumb person. I would love, Elon, I will play you a game of Trivial Pursuit for charity. I will play you a game of Trivial Pursuit. You and me, will people bet, and all the bettings can like go to charity or something, right? So let's do it. You and me. If I win, how about this? If I win, you quit government entirely forever. No lobbying, no paying for campaigns, no getting involved, nothing. You don't do anything government. If you win, I will. What can I do? I will never criticize you again. I will say you're the smartest person who ever lived. I will. I'll give you a foot massage. And I will. I will convince all the women on Earth that you should father their children, Genghis Khan style. How about that? Does that work? Is that a good trade-off? And any money raised from super chats or whatever, betting pools, that can just go to charity. Because in reality, I'm going to clean your clock, dude. You're a fucking moron. I will whoop your ass in a game of Trivial Pursuit. So, you up for it? You up for it, my man? Shall we do it? I know you're watching the show right now because you can't get enough of me talking shit about you constantly. But hey, let's do it. Trivial Pursuit for charity. Does that work? US Miami Doge attack. Oh, what happened? What just happened? I have to look up in the news and just see. 5 hours ago, 13 hours ago, 4 hours ago, 3 hours ago. Private GOP panic over the slash and burn Doge firings. I see nothing in the last minute here. 1 day ago. All right. Well, I need more than that to go on than just Doge attack. I can't keep up. Kelly Reid, never in the history of tariffs and protectionist monetary policy has it done anything other than crash the market and led to the Great Depression. The incompetence of the current administration is on a level never seen before in modern times. The question is not if Trump will crash the economy, but when. He's already dismantling the oversight that was put in place after the 2008 market crash. Oh yeah, no, it's going to be, the B is silent. Oh, B is silent. God damn it. Oh, I just got, thank you, Chris, for explaining the Jason Blackwell joke that my brain was not picking up on. Be silent, so eject. Okay. Well, if for some reason there was a pun in the Trivial Pursuit game, I would not win it then. Everyone's getting that one. All right. Don't see the shade of Doge is at my employer, University of Cincinnati. It's been terrifying. Why the heck are they there? Are they just dismantling like science labs that have government grants or something at the moment? Just awful. City Life, Los Angeles. So what is the connection of Alibaba and GME? Is that to get cheaper gaming equipment cheaper? I don't think there is any connection there. Just Alibaba's a giant company and people buy stuff from China and it's a solid investment. So, well, it was a solid investment until Trump actually levels all the tariffs he's threatening on China. Then it will no longer be a solid investment because the largest buyer of Chinese goods is the United States of America. So, yeah. I don't know what Ryan's thinking there. Just last spring, Donald Trump mused about getting rid of video games. He was like, why do we have video games? We should get rid of video games. They're violent. We don't need them at all. And then, the number one seller of video games in the world is like, Trump, 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 Trump. So I don't understand his motivations at all. And that we're going to put tariffs on everything, so everything from China is going to be really expensive and no one's going to buy it. I'm going to invest $1 billion in Alibaba. I honestly, I don't get it. I don't get it at all. Michael Mystery likes a shirt. It's another Michael Mystery shirt, so of course you like it. It's past 4:30. Okay, everybody, I gotta get going. It was a pleasure seeing you all. I will do a show again tomorrow.